Major manhunt is underway this hour to find the gunman you see there who shot two California sheriff's deputies as they sat in their police car. You can see him walk up to the officer's car and open fire seemingly for no reason. Those officers are in critical condition at a hospital in Los Angeles. Police say there were protesters chanting, "We hope they die," meaning we hope the police officers die, while the protesters tried to block access to the emergency room at that hospital. Sunday morning here in D.C. Jillian, nice to be with you. Nice to be with you at home.
Leland, good to be with you too. I'm Jillian Turner. So those two sheriff's deputies are now in critical condition. They did manage to radio for help in the immediate aftermath of that attack, thankfully. We're joined now by Christina Coleman, who's got new developments on their condition. She joins us from Los Angeles. Christina?
Hi, Jillian. Yeah, those deputies, they are in critical condition, and an intense search is on right now for the gunman who attacked them. They're both fighting for their lives at this hour. Surveillance video shows the suspect ambush the deputies as they're sitting in their patrol car at a metro station in Compton around 7 o'clock last night. Both deputies were shot in their upper body. They were still able to radio for help, and one of them opened the car door after the attack. The critically injured deputies are identified as a 24-year-old man and a 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old boy.
This was an unprovoked, cowardly act. The individual will be caught, and justice will prevail.
The two deputies were doing their job, and seeing somebody just walk up and just start shooting on them, it pisses me off.
The two deputies were taken to a local hospital. They both had surgery after the shooting, and both of them were shot multiple times. President Trump tweeted, "If they die, fast trial death penalty for the killer. Only way to stop this." Witnesses say protesters showed up to the hospital where the deputies were taken, chanting anti-police slogans. Riot police ended up showing up to the protests. The LA County Sheriff's Department tweeted this last night: "To the protesters blocking the entrance and exit of the hospital emergency room, yelling, 'We hope they die,' referring to the two LA sheriffs ambushed in Compton. Do not block emergency entries and exits to the hospital. People's lives are at stake and ambulances can't get through." The Sheriff's Department is also asking for people to keep the injured deputies in their thoughts and prayers. Jillian?
Christina Coleman from Los Angeles. Thank you. Leland?
Joe Biden also tweeted on this morning, saying this cold-blooded shooting is unconscionable and the perpetrator must be brought to justice. We bring in D.C. homicide detective, Fox News contributor Ted Williams. Boy, Ted, there's a lot to break down here. None of it is good. Start with the shooting itself. You watch that tape. This reminds me so much of the summer of 2016 when people were targeting law enforcement officers in much the same way.
Yeah, Leland, when you watch that tape, it is so shocking. Here it is, and these two deputies are in their car, and this guy walks up, and we can't say it's a guy, we don't know what it is, but it's a man or a woman, but they walk up as though they're going to walk past the car, then come right back, and they wound up shooting these two deputies just sitting there. I don't know how shocking this can be, and it is really terrible to hurt them when I see this. And this really brings home what the men and women in this country go through every day, every time they put that uniform on and they go out there, their lives are in danger.
It's one thing for your life to be in danger when you run into a burning house or when you try to arrest a suspect, but the idea of officers being targeted as they sit in their cars is a whole different thing. It's going to have to change at some point policing, don't you think, that officers can no longer just sit at 7-Eleven or at the donut shop and take a minute and relax?
Lillian, I wish that there was some way to change this, but I really don't see any. You know, you and I, we covered Ramos and Lou, two police officers in New York City, sitting in their car under the same circumstances, were shot and killed. And here, so it's just a terrible situation, Leland.
No, terrible in every way. And then you combine that with the report, and there is video out there of protesters blocking the entrances to the emergency room and saying, "We hope they die." I'm not really sure there's a word in the English language to describe that kind of behavior.
It is undescribable.
Yeah.
We hope they die. Here it is, 2 officers clinging, fighting for their lives, and you've got protesters at the emergency room hollering and singing and protesting and saying, we hope they die. You know, we wonder what in the hell is happening in this country. Why are we at this stage? I keep wondering about this as to whether the electoral process in this country at this time has something to do with it. Do we have some foreign agents that are out there that are operating? This is just uncivilized in our country, Leland.
Unprecedented, too, in terms of the way. And the effect on policing is real. We have a list, and there's so many of them, we've had to scroll the names of the police chiefs who have resigned since George Floyd's death. And it's a stunning list. Many of these are not been accused of doing anything wrong, but so many of them feel under fire for simply trying to do their jobs. If police chiefs are resigning and you can't get good people to sign up for the force, that kind of leaves us all in a pickle, doesn't it?
It leaves us void in this country, Leland. We're in a very bad state in this country where morale of police officers are always out there. And what we need to understand, Leland, is that these men and women put on that uniform. They don't go out there and say, we want to kill a black person. We want to kill a white person. They go out there for the most part to serve and protect the peoples of the community. Yes, you have that segment, that bad segment, but weed them out. But we cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater. And unfortunately, that's where we are in law enforcement at this time. Morale is at an all-time low.
Morale's at an all-time low, and the murder rates in so many of American cities and the crime rates are going through the roof. St. Louis, murder capital of the world last year, and now up, or murder capital of the United States, and the murder rate there now up 43+%. Ted, we always appreciate your insights, your analysis, and a calm head on days like this. Thank you.
My pleasure, Leland.